Hi, good evening everybody. The result for IBPS PO has been announced along with a couple of other results. So I think it's a mixed day for you people. All the best, congratulations to all of you who could crack it, and tough luck to all of you who could not. Just remember that the toughest, the biggest exam of the season is just around the corner. So it's in a month's time. So don't lose hope, don't lose heart. For those of you who think you made it but still would want to have a crack at SBI PO, I think I'll strongly encourage you. I mean, it's the biggest, you understand that. So SBI is very special. So keep working hard, do not give hope, and do not be complacent. For all of you who got selected, do not get complacent. Do not think that I'm through, so I do not need to put in efforts for this. If you do not put in efforts for this, you will not make it. Fine. So though you are selected, it does not count towards your credit for SBI PO, right? So if you are keen on it, please keep working hard, very hard. Fine. With this, I'll come to today's topic. It's a very simple one. I mean, direction sense, it's a very simple one. I did all the research, tried to find out all the kind of questions that appear. It's actually so simple. There is not much to teach here. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to expose you to all the kinds of questions that I've seen. I mean, there are some 4, 5, 6 types that I've seen. I'll just expose you to all the kinds of questions, and if I've got something to tell you in terms of some tips or some inputs, I'll keep doing that. Otherwise, it's very simple. We'll just do 20-25 questions. We'll wind this up in 45 minutes or not more than an hour, definitely. Fine. So I'll share my opinion, my observation wherever I have to. Otherwise, I'll just keep moving. Very simple questions. Keep giving me the answers. Right. So we'll proceed with this. I'll just remove myself from the screen, and before I give you questions, I'll just tell you a few basic things. I'm 100% sure that most of you would know this already, but those of you who know it, just listen to it again, just 3-4 minutes, and those of you who are not very sure about it, it's definitely going to help you. Fine. I'm basically answering a few questions that I keep facing when it comes to directions, be it puzzles or be it questions like this. One question number 1 that people ask me is that we generally draw like this. This is north, this is south, this becomes east, and that's west. Why is it drawn like this? Fine. कुछ और तरीके से नहीं बना सकते क्या? You can definitely draw it in whatever way you want. Fine. The only thing that you need to take care of this is this pattern. Fine. So this is important. Why is this important? North, east, south, west. So it has to go like this. Fine. So this clockwise direction would always be like north, east, south, west. And if you put in the other directions, like for example, this is north, east. Fine. So it would come in between. So obviously, fine. So you can do anything here. So if you want, you can make this north. So in that case, east would come here, and likewise it would continue. So it's not at all important. Then what is the reason that we do it like this? We do it like this because I feel comfortable like this. Because from my 6th, 7th standard, when I was studying geography, I was told that this is up north and down south. Isn't it? In fact, we talk like this in our common language as well. So when I see north here at the top and south at the bottom, it makes me comfortable. That's how I've learned it. If you want to make your life difficult by taking some other directions as north and south, you can do it, but that's my advice. This is north, this is south, this is east, and that's west. The bad west. इधर ही आता है ना अमेरिका, उसी को बोलते हैं western word. Fine. So that is it for you. So you will use this. So this is point number 1 here. Another thing is that when you talk about directions, all of you know that let's say this is my canvas. Fine. So this is east and this is north and southwest. This is fine. But there are 2 ways in which we look at directions. So this becomes, directions are absolute. You need to understand that directions are absolute. Directions are absolute in the sense, let's say, for example, let's think of it. I'm very poor at drawing, so I will not try and draw anything. Let's say this is a word map. ऐसा सोचो आप that this is a word map, kind of a word map, and here is this country. Fine. Let's say this is India here. Fine. And let's say this is Iraq. Fine. Do not. This is not to scale. This is not to anything. Fine. Just some random thing. This is US and this is Australia. ऐसे दिखता है ना आपको, something like this. Fine. So whatever you do, just remember in this one thing here, that if I talk in terms of relations here, so I will say that Australia is to the east of India. Fine. Just remember this. Australia is to the east of India. I think this is fine with everybody. Why? Because on this, Australia is towards this direction. US would be towards the west of India. But if you talk from US's perspective, fine, both India and Australia would be towards the east, or from Iraq's perspective, if you look at this, they would be towards the east. And the same thing goes for any directions, any directions. So for example, a person A is standing here, fine, in this thing he looks like as if he is towards the east, and there is somebody who is here, fine, just about here. So in this, in the context of these two, B would be to the east of A, fine, and A would be to the west of B. Just remember this, you would never get confused in these directions, because at times they trouble people like this. So when we talk about people, there can be two things, the two contexts in which this can be given. For example, somebody like A is standing here, fine. So if he is standing here and facing north, what would be his right? His right would be this direction, fine. Is it okay? You just try and visualize this. If this is north and he is facing north, he is standing here, just visualize a person standing like this. So what would be his right? His right would be this direction, which would become east in this case, and his left would be this direction, which would become west in this case. So just be careful with it, just be careful with it. It would be very important when it's given to you in the form of a puzzle. So when it comes in the form of a puzzle, this is the last thing that I would want you to mess up, the directions. So do not do it. Moving forward, whatever else I have to tell you here, I'll keep telling you in between the questions, right? So I'm moving forward, and this is your first question. Just give me the answer very quickly. There is absolutely nothing in it, so I'll do probably a couple of questions in all the possible types, and then we can just wind this up very quickly. So that's your answer, that's your question. Guys, concentrate on this. This is a very short class. If you want to discuss something about the result, then I'm available after this, fine. So do not get into this conversation now. Just focus back on class. I understand it's not a very difficult one, but still, nevertheless, it's very important. Start this. Ankur, this is too much to ask. Start the class from the beginning. This is expecting a bit too much from me. All right, all of you saying north, fine. So this is fine. This is a very easy question. All of you can do this. There's just one thing that I wanted to tell you here. Again, we'll draw this. This is north, this is south, this is east, and that's west. So this person here, when he was standing, he was facing north. So that's given, fine. What he does is that he turns like this. So that's 90 degree, and then another 135 degrees. So he would be facing somewhere here after the first two turns, fine. And after that, 180 degree. What is 180 degree? It's exactly the opposite. So he'll go like this, and that's the direction which becomes northeast here. So it's a very simple question. All of you understand that the answer would be northeast, fine. The only thing that I wanted to tell you here is that when you look at a question like this is a type that appears very frequently, fine, in all these exams, different exams. When you look at this, you do not need to visualize this or draw this even. You can just work with these angles. I'm sure all of you or many of you would already be doing that. If you're not doing that, then start doing it now. For example, this is 90 clockwise. This is again 135 clockwise, and this is 180 degrees anti-clockwise. So can I say that the net effect would be 90 plus 135 minus 180, fine, and this is in clockwise direction. So basically it's 45 degrees clockwise. So that's the net effect. So you have to save every second wherever you can. So if you just look at it like this, it will be very simple. You can just answer it in 5 seconds. So you do not do anything in this. You just look at this: 90, 135, 180 minus 135 is 45, 90 minus 45 is 45. So from north, this is the direction he was facing, fine. This 45 degrees gives you north in the east in this case, and that becomes your answer in this. So I'm just discussing all the types and how you should do it mentally without either without writing or writing the minimum possible stuff here, fine. So that's the important part here. That's why I give you this thing. Answer this one now. This is the second one. Answer this one now very quickly. Vineet, wonderful, you did it that way. That's the only way you do it. already all the things that I'm doing here, this will require some practice. I mean, so if I give you a new, probably a set of tips here to handle these, there's not much here, I'm again telling you. But if I tell you something, then you need to practice it to master it. Fine. Okay, you are saying southwest. I'm surprised, southwest. Okay, tell me something. When he started, this is the position of this guy. Fine. This is where he started, so he's facing this direction, southwest. Now he's turning. Fine. What is he turning like? He turns 45 degrees clockwise. So this is clockwise. Fine. And this is then anti-clockwise. Then 135 clockwise. And how can answer be southwest? So when would answer be southwest? First let's eliminate the southwest thing. The answer would be southwest if the degrees that it turns clockwise is same as the number of degrees that it turns anti-clockwise, isn't it? But if you look at it here, if you look at this is 45 degrees clockwise, and where is clockwise again? This is 135. So that's 45, 135 in clockwise. And if you look at anti-clockwise, this is this 90, and so I'm putting a different symbol here so that we can identify it. And then anti-clockwise here is 180. So you can definitely see that anti-clockwise is more than clockwise. The way I would do this, and without thinking anything, is this first one is clockwise, then anti-clockwise. So you can see clearly here that this is 90 and 45. So can I say 45 more in anti-clockwise direction of the first two operations? And it depends on me how I operate with these numbers. So the way it comes to my mind straight away is 45 clockwise, 90 anti-clockwise. So net result is 45 anti-clockwise. If you look at the second one, it's again that same thing, 135 clockwise, 180 anti-clockwise. So it's again 45 anti-clockwise. So can I say that the net effect would be 90 anti-clockwise? It has to be 90 minus 45, 180 minus 35, 45, 45, 90. So if you have to move here, rather than doing these four operations, what you have to do is just move 90 degree anti-clockwise from this. I hope all of you understand what anti-clockwise and clockwise is. If you move 90 degree anti-clockwise from this direction, that's your new direction. And what is this? This is southeast, and with a bit of practice you can easily visualize it. Fine. So the way I look at this question, or I think about doing this question, is I just draw this mentally. Fine. I just draw this mentally, this thing. Fine. I realize very quickly that whatever is the current position, he would be moving 90 degree anti-clockwise from this. Fine. You just have to just keep this in your head like this. If it's 90 degree anti-clockwise and it was like southwest in the beginning, that this west would start moving towards east. ऐसे ही होता है ना, when we move anti-clockwise, how does it happen? Anti-clockwise case में north, west, south, east, it works like this. So the moment you see the southwest, this portion should click to you mentally. Do not draw this. This should click to you mentally. Now you know that from this he will be moving towards this direction. So what would happen? From this region he would get into this region. And what is this region? This region is southeast, and that becomes your answer in this case. So even if they give you 5-6 such operations, just calculate this plus minus thing. Do not draw this complete thing. In fact, I would advocate not drawing anything at all. Just calculate it like mathematics, simple arithmetic, and move forward with the question. I hope you got this. This is prone to errors, and whenever you do it mentally, it becomes more prone to errors. Fine. So there's a chance that you make a stupid mistake in this. I do not want to leave. I do not want you to lose any marks in a question as simple as this one. Fine. So I do not mind even if you give it 30 seconds and not 10 seconds and get it right. But I would want you to do it in 10 seconds and not give it 30 seconds. But it's definitely better than doing it in 10 seconds and getting it incorrect. I hope you are getting my sentiment. Do 100, 150 such questions. You will start getting it mentally very, very quickly. Okay, that's the next one. Again, this is the next type. Very simple again. I just thought I'll give a question or two to make you understand this thing. Answer this now. मनीषा, इसमें ज़्यादा मुश्किल आता ही नहीं है. What do I do? I've made something for you. Let's see. Again, a very, very simple one, but still I think some of you are getting it incorrect. हाउ डू आई ड्रॉ दिस, मैंने इसमें कुछ बनाना ही नहीं है. A is to the east of B, कहीं से भी बना सकते हैं. So it becomes something like this. So if this is B, this is A is to the B, A is to the east of B को ऐसे ही लिखेंगे ना. This is east. अगर हम मूव करना स्टार्ट करेंगे, so A is to the east of B would be like this. B is to the north of C, B ऊपर है. Fine, B is to the north, तो C would be something like this. D is to the south of C. फाइन, तो डी यहाँ पर आ जाएगा. सो दैट्स द डायरेक्शंस, बस यही डायरेक्शंस हैं आपकी. फाइन, अब दीज आर द डायरेक्शंस. व्हाट इज आस्किंग, वेयर इज डी विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ए. सो विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ए, जस्ट बी वेरी केयरफुल विद नॉट रिवर्सिंग दिस थिंग. सो दैट्स योर फ्रेम ऑफ रेफरेंस ए, बिकॉज ही आस्किंग वेयर इज डी विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ए. सो इफ यू लुक एट ए, वेयर इज डी. फाइन, बस ए के हिसाब से सोचो. दिस इज साउथ एंड दिस इज west. If this is southwest, where is D? D would be in SW or southwest. Nothing else to do here. The only thing that you could have messed up here was that you look at A from D's direction. In that case, it would become northeast, and that's the reason probably a couple of you said northeast. Just be careful with this. There is nothing difficult in this. Fine, you get it right very quickly. My advice here is that you do not make it like this: A, B, C and D. Even making these stupid lines would waste some time for you. You're getting me? You have to either do it mentally or just do it like this: A, B, C, D, and you get it that this is going to be southwest. So this is it. Nothing more to tell you here. The next one. This is your next one. Answer this now. Okay, all of you are saying northeast. I think all of you are saying northeast looks fine. I'll tell you what I'll first tell you what you would have done in a question like this. I think this is how you would have started drawing this thing, that you start with B here. Fine, and then I'm saying northeast, so northeast would go like this. So you put an A here. Fine, and then you C is to the northwest of A. Then you go here, you put C. This is northwest. You do it mentally without looking at directions. It should be just in your mind. And then you say D is to the east of C. Fine, D is to the east of C. You draw D somewhere here, and that's how you are asking where is D with respect to B. So you can see here that this is B, and this direction here becomes northeast in this case. Fine, so that's fine. There is just one concern here. There is a reason why I put this question here. So northeast is the correct answer as per this thing. Fine, but if you look at this question is basically cannot be determined. The reason is very simple. All of you saying, so okay, I'm glad that some of you are saying cannot be determined here. This is cannot be determined because in the last one it was possible to give you the exact directions. In this one it is not. I'm just drawing it again. Just look at this. Let's say this is B. Fine. If I go towards this direction, I can put A here as well. Or let me just redraw it. Just a second. Okay, let's say I start with B and I put A here. Fine, so this is fine. Now when I am drawing C, can I do something like this? Yes, I can because उसमें तो कुछ लिखा ही नहीं है. C is to the northwest of A. So if you look at this, C is to the northwest of A in this one as well. So C can be here. Look at the last one, D is to the east of C. So D comes here. Now is there a problem with this one? Absolutely not. So this is C and D. The reason why I put it here is, fine, in fact I'll tell you two things about this. The reason why I put it here and said that northeast is fine is that I saw a lot of questions in different tutorials. I do not know if actual exam body does it or not, in which it was exactly like this and CND was not even an option. Fine, if CND is not an option in a question like this, I will go with northeast. Fine, what I would assume in a question like that, in that case is that they want you to take all these displacements as equal. Fine, so this BA equal to AC is equal to CD, because there is no other way that you can arrive at the answer otherwise. if it's given, if CND is given in a question like this with just this much data, I would go with cannot be determined, because it's actually not possible to know. Fine. If you look at this one, this is northeast. If you look at this one, this is what? This is again northwest only. So the exact answer for this question is cannot be determined. I hope you got the point. This is possible, but I have seen in a lot of books, tutorials, websites, portals, whatever, in which it was just like this and CND was not an option. So I assumed that they wanted to give you northeast as the answer in a question like this. I hope you will remember this and deal with it accordingly. So just be careful with this. Again, a simple one only. The next one, answer this. Okay, answer this one. I asked the distance as well in this one. Kishore, I think I made myself clear. I think I explained it twice. Please listen to it again if you still have a confusion there. West, but I am asking what is the distance? You have, I think, read it incomplete. Okay. Another thing is that when I am saying southeast, fine. Let's say this is my directions. These are my directions. This is east and this is west. So when I am saying this direction, you can safely assume that I am talking about this being 45 degrees. So if I am talking about northeast, this is happening at 45 degrees only and not at 40 degrees. For the sake of answering at times, even if it's 40 or 30, you answer it at northeast, fine, but generally it will be this exact value, 45 degrees only. Now look at it like this. I'm just erasing it and coming to the answer. What is given here? A is 10 meters southwest of B. So this is B here. Southwest would be, again, if you're familiar with directions, you would not just write them, just do this. So this distance is 10, and again C is like this. This is again 10, and this is this is C. So that's the distance. And you know that if I draw a line like this angle would be 45 degrees and this angle would also be 45 degrees. You do not have to draw this. I am again repeating. This is to be done mentally. Fine. So if you have to look at this, there are two parts of this question. I am saying what direction and what distance. Both of them again could have been done mentally. How? If you look at this, A is southwest, this is southeast. So you can seriously say this is 10, this is 10, this is southwest, this is southeast. So A would definitely be to the west of C. Look at this. और कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता ना. With respect to B, this A is in this direction, this is this direction. South तो दोनों में ही है, distance भी same ही है. But A is towards west and C is towards east. So you could have said directly without writing anything on the paper that A would be to the west of C. ये तो part हो गया. अब इसमें दूसरा part क्या था? What is the distance between them? So this is a simple triangle that I think Samir discussed yesterday as well. What is this? This is going to be a right angle triangle. ऐसा वाला triangle है ना ये, in which this is 10, this is right angle, this is 10. What is the standard value? Do you need to use Pythagoras theorem for this? Absolutely not. होता क्या है ये सब क्या है? This is 45, this is 45. इसके sides का ratio क्या होता है किसी भी ऐसे triangle का? This is 1:1:√2. You need to remember this, and you need to remember many such values like this for some other important numbers as well. For example, 30, 60, 90 triangle is also a very special triangle. But this 45, 45, 90 is a very, very special one, a very simple one. So the moment you realize that it's 45, 45, you could straight away have answered both the questions without drawing it. 10 ही होने वाला ना side. This is 10, this is 10. So the answer has to be 10√2 when it comes to distance. Fine. Now this requires practice, just practice. You can get it wrong if you try answering it very quickly without practicing it. Practice a lot of questions, you will get it easily. Right? I am giving you the next one now. All of this would be very simple. Do not ask for any tougher questions. I am not going slightly beyond the level that they give. Not very difficult. Nothing would be very difficult. Answer this now. Mohit, if in a question like that CND is an option, I would go with CND. I do not know what the exam body marks as the or awards marks for. So many of you saying southeast. Let us try drawing it since so many of you saying it. Neatly बनाते हैं थोड़ा सा. B is to the east of A. Fine. So let's say this is A. B is to the east of A. So that becomes B. I'm just drawing it neatly for you. B is to the east of A. I think this is fine. Yes. But to the north of C. North of C क्या है? This is English and not reasoning. B is to the east of A, but to the north of C. A नहीं है north of C में. If you have done this. Fine. B is to the east of A. This is property of B. And to the north of C. You can read it like that as well. So B is to the north of C. So this is B here. It means C would be somewhere here. ऐसे कुछ होगा ना? So if you look at this, it satisfies now. B is to the east of A. Is it okay? Yes. To the north of C. Yes. Both are fine. C is to the west of D. C is to the west of D. अब अगर आप बात कर रहे हो C is to the west of D. Fine. Where would what do you have to put? D here. Sorry. C is to the west of D. So it becomes D here in this case. Now you do anything here. You do anything here in this case. What am I asking? D is in what direction with respect to A? Fine. So the direction would be something like this. What is this direction? So this is going down, so that's south, and this is going towards right, this thing. So this becomes southeast in this case. Now even if you change this, I mean, you change it, the lengths and everything, it would not change because I'm not coming back. Where does the problem arise in all such cases? Had I moved D in this direction, then there would be a problem. Are you getting me? So since I'm moving like this, so this is A, this becomes B, fine, this becomes C, fine, this becomes D. Whatever change I make, can I say that D with respect to A would always be towards the right, that is towards east, and towards this down direction, that's south? So the answer, whatever way you draw it, would always be southeast. Though it's not exact at 45 degrees, it does not matter. So if there is a question like this, with what I have understood and what I have seen and observed, they look at it as southeast only. So it's not important that it's at 45 degrees. In fact, the degrees is not, you cannot even calculate the exact degrees here. It's not simply not possible with the data given here. Fine. So just be careful. If the distances are not given, do not think that it cannot be calculated. Just scribble it very quickly, something like this, and you'll quickly realize if it's answerable or not answerable. Fine. So do not get confused in it. Get it right. The next one now. That's the next one. This is another type. Answer this one now. Alright, all of you I think are giving me the correct answer. That's southwest. Now I do not know how you do it. I'll just give you another way of looking at questions like this. The moment I see this, I mean this does not mean anything. This is changing directions. It says southeast is my new north and northeast is my new west. So basically, as I told you, you do not need to do anything here. Their relative positions would remain the same. Just look at it like this. Where is southeast here? This is southeast, fine. And where is north here? It's north. If you look here, what you have done is, in fact, this is one way of thinking about these questions. I have rotated it, fine, and rotated it like this, fine. Can I say it's 135 degrees? you do not need to zero in on the exact value. Sorry, can I say that this is rotation? When I am saying southwest is southeast is now called north, fine. So southeast को नया नाम देने के लिए what I have done is that I have rotated it like this. So southeast को जो नया नाम मिला है वो कहाँ मेरे को मिलता है? Look at it like this. You can think it either way. Southeast का नया नाम मेरे को कहाँ मिलेगा? Where would I get my new name for southeast? When I go 135 degrees in anti-clockwise direction, right? Which is north. Now it's fine. The moment I look at this is job done for me. I do not need to look at this one now. क्योंकि तो सेम ही होने वाला है ना. Now you get northeast. Where is northeast? This is northeast. Northeast is now called west. अगर आप देखोगे तो northeast में भी सेम ही रोटेशन होगा, कुछ और हो ही नहीं सकता ना. It's just to tell you that the same thing is happening with all the directions here. So northeast would also be 135 towards the left for the new name. So northeast now is called west in this case. अब he is asking what is north called now. You can do it mentally. नॉर्थ में 135 का रोटेशन कहाँ आएगा? इस साउथ वेस्ट पे आके रुकेगा, विच इज योर आंसर. नाउ जस्ट थिंक अबाउट दिस. If this is given to you, fine, what do you visualize? You visualize a setup like this: north, south, east, west. All of you can draw it and do it. You do it in your mind. What you realize here is mentally again that this region is southeast. This southeast is now called north. So it's a rotation like this. So what is north called now? ये मेरे को पढ़ना ही नहीं है ये वाला पार्ट, ये तो सेम ही रहेगा ना हमेशा. So north would be somewhere here. That's the region. And what is this region? This is southwest. How much time do you take to do it? Nothing. 10-15 seconds. If you realize this, it's happening like this. But for this you need to be very comfortable with the directions. You mess it up east, west, north, south, and you lose 1 mark here. And it's a very simple question. So just look at this: southeast to north, this is the rotation. North to this, same rotation. In fact, in this case, so it's easier because southeast to north and north to this thing is that same point of reference. You move from here to here and then here to here. So you started with southeast and you ended up at southwest. That's this region. I hope you got it. Repeat. Okay, I'll just do it one more time. It's a simple concept. There is absolutely nothing to tell you here. This is north, this is south, this is east, this is west. Fine. Southeast hai. So we are talking about this direction. That's southeast. In the new setup, it goes where? It goes in this direction. How much? By 135 degrees. 135 degrees anti-clockwise. Fine. So whatever change happens in the same manner. He is saying where does north go, or what is, I can look at it either way. तो अब इसको मूव करना है तो ये कहाँ जाएगा? ये भी इधर ही जाएगा ना. एंड दिस वुड बी दिस पॉइंट. एंड व्हाट इज दिस पॉइंट? दिस इज साउथ वेस्ट. सो यू कैन डू दिस पार्ट मेंटली ना यार, करने की जरूरत नहीं है. इसको ड्रॉ क्यों करोगे आप? साउथ ईस्ट टू नॉर्थ, यू कैन विजुलाइज इट मेंटली. 135 एंटी क्लॉकवाइज. नॉर्थ टू 135 एंटी क्लॉकवाइज कितना होगा? यू कैन डू इट मेंटली. प्रैक्टिस इट, यू कैन डू इट मेंटली, एंड द आंसर बिकम्स साउथ वेस्ट टू दिस थिंग. आई होप यू गॉट इट. इफ यू डू नॉट गेट इट, प्लीज थिंक अबाउट इट अगेन. इंपॉर्टेंट है. द नेक्स्ट वन, सिमिलर क्वेश्चन. आई गिव यू वन मोर to just visualize this quickly. Answer this one very quickly now. नवीन कह रहा है वो पेपर को रोटेट कर देगा. गुड नवीन, कर सकते हो, बट पेपर पे लिखना ही नहीं ना यार. क्वेश्चन पेपर में बना हुआ आएगा नहीं, आजकल आता नहीं है. इट्स नॉट ड्रॉन. कंप्यूटर स्क्रीन को रोटेट करने की कोशिश मत करना. दैट माइट बी नॉट सो गुड फॉर योर हेल्थ. फाइन. सो ऐसे विजुअलाइज करोगे तो ज़्यादा बढ़िया रहेगा. Now can you get this one mentally? Just think about this. What is happening? South becomes west. जो भी ये रोटेशन है ये तो सेम ही रहेगा ना. In all these type of questions it's always the same. साउथ से वेस्ट तो क्या होता है? आप मेंटली वैसे भी सोच सकते हो ना. दिस इज 90 डिग्री क्लॉकवाइज का रोटेशन हो रहा है. वेयर आर यू नाउ? यू आर एट साउथ ईस्ट. तो यहाँ से 90 डिग्री क्या होगा? दिस वुड बी गिव यू अगेन साउथ वेस्ट. दैट्स योर आंसर. ये तो दिस इज सिंपलर. इन फैक्ट दिस इज 90 डिग्री क्लॉकवाइज रोटेशन. सो द मोमेंट यू रियलाइज, इसको छोड़ दो, इस फिगर की जरूरत नहीं है. साउथ टू वेस्ट, यू कैन विजुअलाइज दिस वेरी इजीली. आप किधर जा रहे हो? आप तमिलनाडु से यूएस की तरफ जा रहे हो, ऐसे समझ लो. अगर आप यहाँ पर कहीं पर हो, अगर आप सेंट्रल इंडिया में हो. सो साउथ टू वेस्ट, दैट्स द रोटेशन. नाउ यू आर सेइंग साउथ ईस्ट से क्या बनेगा? साउथ ईस्ट किधर की तरफ रोटेट होगा? अगेन ईस्ट से वेस्ट की तरफ ही जाने वाला है ना. तो इफ इट वाज साउथ ईस्ट, किधर की तरफ जाएगा? सो इट वुड गो टुवर्ड्स साउथ वेस्ट एंड दैट्स योर आंसर इन दिस केस. You can do all this mentally. ये बहुत ही आराम से हो जाता है. This is a very very simple question type. Do not write anything here. It's just a clockwise rotation of 90 degrees. Please realize this. I do not know if some other form comes. This is the form that I've seen. They'll give you 2 and will ask you the third one. And the first 2 obviously have to be in sync. Otherwise, you would not be able to solve it. All right. The next one now. This is the next one. Do this now. So this is another type that comes. I've just accumulated all the types here. Vineet, this is no clock concept. Just look at it carefully. This is very simple. Give me the answer. Okay, so many of you saying east. I think that would be the answer. Let me, I draw it every time. Fine. Now there are multiple ways in which you can do this. I'll tell you how I think about questions like this. Let's try drawing a clock just to understand this. Fine. So I think it looks like a clock. Yes, not bad. So this is Naveen's clock here, alarm clock. It says he puts it on the table in a way that at 9 p.m. the hour hand points towards north. Fine. The hour hand का मतलब क्या हुआ? सिर्फ आप वो small hand की बात करें. You're talking just about the small hand, and you can forget about the big hand. So at 9 p.m. where would it be? Can I say it would be something like this? This is just to explain to you. Fine, just listen to it carefully. So at 9 p.m. the hour hand would be something like this. Fine. Now look at the second one. In which direction would the minute hand point at 4 a.m.? Now we're talking about 4 a.m. I would not draw the other hand, only the hand that is required. So where would the minute hand be at 4 a.m.? So 4 a.m., 5 a.m. or 3 a.m. Irrespective of that, can I say that the minute hand would be like this? यही होना चाहिए ना? Are you with me on this? So this was the hour hand and this is my minute hand. Now this is the only thing that you need to realize here, and you can do this without drawing a clock. What is the movement here? Fine. ये movement कितना है? Can I say that this is again 90 degree clockwise? यही हुआ है ना? That's the only thing that is happening. From the earlier one to the new situation, it's a 90 degree clockwise movement. So the same movement should happen here in the direction. So I do not do anything. What I do is, I know that this is north here. Fine. This direction is north here. So either you can think like this or you can think like this. ये तो आपके दिमाग में रहता है ना कि ये कैसे चलता है. So this works like north, east, south, west. If you have to move it clockwise, directions do like this: north, east, south, west, north, east, south, west, and it works like this. So if you have to, if you know this, you're conscious of this fact, you would realize that in the two situations, the movement is 90 degree clockwise. So from north, what is my 90 degree clockwise movement? It's east. So the answer becomes east in this case. I hope you got this. I'm just repeating it once more, so that all of you understand this. What are the two positions of the clock? Fine. This is 12, 3, 6, 9. Fine. At 9 p.m. Look at 9 p.m. the hour hand. Can I say at 9 p.m. the hour hand would be like this? This would be fine with everybody. Now look at the second case. 4 a.m. 4 a.m. the minute hand would be like this. So these are the two situations. Can I say in the first situation and the second one, the movement is of 90 degree clockwise, and you can do it mentally without drawing anything. You do not have to draw this clock. Now that's your directions, north, south, east and west. ये आपका north था, this one, this was north here. Because it's difficult to visualize this way, you can visualize this way also. So 90 degree clockwise from north would be what? East, and you can do it mentally like this. So any such question you can do it mentally without drawing a clock. You just need to practice it. I am giving you another one, answer that one. This is your next one, answer this. ओके, सो मेनी सेइंग ईस्ट. एक बार फिर से इसको क्योंकि समझना है, इसको ऐसे बना के देख लेते हैं. नाउ आई एम नॉट राइटिंग द नंबर्स एज वेल. द फर्स्ट केसेस 6:45 a.m. Fine. Which hand? Minute hand. At 45, the minute hand would be like this. Any 45, the minute hand would be like this. Fine. In which direction would the hour hand point at 4:30 p.m.? Hour hand at 4:30. Can I say it's exactly this direction between 3 and 6? 4:30 types होगा ना ये? If this is this direction, the second one, and this is your hour hand, can I say it's a movement of 135 degrees anti-clockwise this direction this time? Now you can do it mentally. Southwest क्या होता है? This is your southwest. यहाँ से 135 degrees anti-clockwise would be what? That's east. And that's how east becomes your answer on this one. Now it just depends on your practice and nothing else. I do not know why so many of you are still getting an incorrect answer. It just depends on your practice and you can do it mentally. If you want to draw it and draw it slightly neatly and get the answer, you can do it. But my advice would still remain, try visualizing it. You can do it mentally. It can be done mentally. How do you think about this? The moment you see this 6:45 minute hand and 4:30, आपके दिमाग में ये बनना चाहिए. Fine, these two. The moment it clicks, you realize that this is 135. Now, what do you need to calculate? 135 degrees anti-clockwise from southwest. Again, this thing mentally. This is it. This is it. So it becomes your answer. What is this answer? This is east, and that's how you do it. There is absolutely nothing else that you can do here. और इसमें कुछ भी करने की ज़रूरत भी नहीं है. Fine. I am moving forward, and this is your next one now. Again, this is another type that comes. I do not know why they give it to you, but this comes again. So do it. Again, a question on this. Some of you, in fact very few of you are saying did not get it, and some of you are saying it's absolutely nothing. इसमें कुछ है ही नहीं, अब बताओ मैं कैसे manage करूँ. It gets so difficult for me. Please watch it again. Whoever did not get it, I would advise doing it like this. If you want to do it in a conventional way, you can do it, but you can manage this. सूची रॉन्ग सिर्फ एक ही तरीके से हो सकता है इसमें केयरलेस मिस्टेक. बाकी इसमें तो देयर इज एब्सोल्युटली नथिंग इन इट. दीज आर सो सिंपल क्वेश्चंस. Practice it on, give yourself random values, it would work. Shubham, let's talk this topic at the moment. Please do not digress at this point. It serves no purpose. Please drop a request on FB. I'll see what I can do about it. Make a consensus on one answer. Make a consensus on one answer. This is again a type that appears. That's why I put it here. Please be careful with the language. Be very, very careful with the language. Do it again. Read it again. Give me one answer, all of you. So many of you saying cannot be determined. I do not know. Let me draw this. Fine. सबसे पहले कहाँ से start करते हैं? Let's do this. Drawing this because so many of you got it incorrect. Fine. PQ, the relation between P and Q. Can I say that it will be the relation? ऐसा कुछ बनेगा? QP. I think it's satisfying. What is it? P percent Q means A is to the south of B. So P is to the south of Q. I think this is fine. Come to the second sign now. This sign between Q and R, this is this sign. A is to the east of B, so Q is to the east of R, so R would be to the west, so this becomes R in this case. All of you with me? Now look at this third sign. What does this say? RS के बीच में what would be the relation? In this case, this is okay. I did a mistake here while writing. Just a moment. This is not R, or this should be A. Fine. All of you could understand that. In this case, I have reversed this thing. Fine. I have reversed this in this case. So in सब में क्या है देखो पहले A आता है. So it's A is to the east of B, A is to the south of B. In this case, I had reversed this thing. So this is now B is to the west of A. Fine. It means that S would be to the west of R. So S would be drawn here. I know most of you what you would have done is that you would have put S somewhere here in this case, and that's why you're saying cannot be determined in this case. Please realize that this can be reversed. So A minus B can be put as B is to the west of A, or can be put as A is to the west of B. There is no other thing that you can mess up in these questions apart from this thing. Please realize this. So if we read it like this, A minus B, B is to the west of A, this R minus S becomes R is to the west of S. So there is just one way it can be drawn. Now irrespective of these three lengths, these directions would remain the same. Fine. What is the direction of P with respect to S? Fine. So this is P and this is S. What I can 100% say, what I can say with 100% surety is that if I look at S as my reference frame, P would be towards right and towards down. Fine. So this would be east and this would be south. So the answer in this case becomes southeast and cannot be anything else. Now I'm not saying it has to be 45 degrees, it can be any degrees, but for the sake of these questions you consider this as southeast only, and that becomes the answer in this case. I put in here deliberately, I know all of you know these questions, but I do not want you to lose any marks because of this language. My stupidity, I did not, while typing the question, I did not put A here, just wrote R, but I think all of you understood this. The problem you got it wrong was that you thought that it's A is to the west of B. So just be very, very careful with this, just be very attentive. If it appears 3 questions, you have to get 3 out of 3 in 1.5 minutes. I hope you got the message that I wanted to convey through this question. The next one now. This is your next one, answer this now. Now everyone checking A and B. Sujendru says, yes, you have to check A and B now. All right, wonderful. I understand that all of you got it as cannot be determined. It has to be cannot be determined. The lengths are not given. So if C and D is an option, that's there. Fine. So what I'm doing is, since I know that all of you know how to do this, fine. Let's say I'm just modifying the question a bit to give you a different perspective on this. Let's say I just put saying that A is to the west of B ko. You just read it like this. A is 10 centimeter to the west. You getting me? So I'm just changing the question slightly here. The answer to the original question is cannot be determined. All of you are smart people, all of you understand that, right? Now just listen to me. If I just add 10 centimeter to each of these statements, here, everywhere. So I'm saying A into B means A is 10 centimeter to the west of B. A plus B means A is to the 10 centimeter to the east of B. This means to the south, this third one, and 10 centimeter. So I'm giving you the exact distance now for all 4. Now can you tell me what the answer would be? The answer to the first one is C and D, understood? I'm saying that I'm adding distance to it. You could not give the answer earlier because of the distance. So I'm saying 10 centimeter, 10 centimeter, 10 centimeter, 10 centimeter in all the 4 cases. Then what is the answer? Now tell me the answer. Naman, think about it once. Okay, I can see different answers. Can you spend just 1 more minute here and give me the correct answer, all of you? I do not want you to say offo baad mein. I mean, offo maine ye kar diya. Fine. So do not do that. Fine. Just give it 1 more minute and give me an answer on which you can bet your life. So give me an answer about which you are that confident. Again, a variety of answers. Look, that's the fun of not giving you options. So you come up with so many different answers. Okay. I'm giving you 1 more minute. Give me the correct answer. Okay. Have you drawn it? Have you seen it? They would overlap. Yeah, if you draw it neatly, you would realize that they would overlap. This is not a difficult one to understand. You can draw it. I'll not even draw it for you. You can draw it and understand that they would coincide and would be at the same place. I wanted to tell you something else here. That's why I give you a question like this. Just now listen to me very carefully. The answer would be that P and T, these two guys, P and T, would be at the same place. So they'll be coinciding. Now listen to me very carefully here. Why I would not calculate it, and I would feel an inclination to mark the answer directly in this case is this. This has got a perfect symmetry. This has got a perfect symmetry. Just look at this. ये 10 centimeter is equal in all the cases. This is west, east, south, north. So basically there are four operations that are happening here, and it's like north, south, east, west, everything is happening. Now look at this. A comes first in all the operations. So it's not like for the first one I'm saying B is to the west of A, and for the second one I'm saying A is to the east of B. So it's again perfect symmetry. So it's perfect symmetry absolutely everywhere. So it's 10, 10, 10, 10, A to B, A to B, A to B, A to B. All the four relations are like this. And if you look at this, all the four directions are covered as well. And here also it's covered in the same way. So if you can just think like this, if you can just think, again it's food for thought for you. It's like doing this. I move north. Fine, then I move, let's say, towards east, then I move south, and then I move west. Though now this is not movement in this case, but I want you to think like this. Just think about this. Is it not the same thing that is happening here? You can draw it and arrive at the answer. But when I give you a perfect symmetry like this, and everybody is connected, every element is connected with every other element, and all the four operations are covered, and the same way it's happening, it has to happen like this only, na? I mean, you take some other example with this and convince yourself. In fact, if you want, you can take directions like southeast and southwest and just convince yourself. So it's not a coincidence that they are coinciding. That's why I'm telling you. This is perfect symmetry here. That's why they are coinciding. So just think about it. I'm not saying that it should click to you immediately. Fine. If it doesn't, I do not mind. But if it starts clicking to you things like this, then they come in handy in the exam, because there are four operations. You will waste a minute drawing this. So if it can click to you directly, it happens. The analogy that you need to draw would be same. A person starts from a place and does this, or whatever way you think like this. It does not matter. Even this. So if he starts from this place, he goes here, comes back, goes here, comes back. कैसे भी ले लो, the order would not matter. So this person would come back at the same position. So this is the important point here that I wanted to explain. That's why I took this question. I hope you got it. If you did not, please think about it. It's important. रंजीत नहीं आता, ये सिमेट्री है, वही मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ ना. डू नॉट लुक फॉर फॉर्मुलाज एवरीवेयर. आई मीन इनफैक्ट आई फील डिस्ट्रेस्ड व्हेन यू आस्क मी क्वेश्चंस लाइक अपने मेथड से कर दो. मेरा कोई मेथड नहीं है. आई जस्ट गिव यू वेज टू थिंक. Fine. So I just tell you things that help you eliminate options at times, arrive at the answers faster. Do not think of it as a panacea that you can apply it anywhere and give you the answer. It will never happen. Never happen. I do not do the same question in the same manner again. So you give me a question, probably I'll do it this way today and some other way after 7 days. So it keeps happening. Please realize that, and do not try to stereotype the ways and the solutions. वंदना से सर प्लीज डिग्री वाले क्वेश्चंस में कंफ्यूजन है, उन्हें करवा दो. डिग्री वाला डन वंदना. इज देयर समथिंग एल्स? आई विल डू इट later after this, after I'm done with this. First let's stick to it. Just type what exactly do you want me to do. This is your next one. Answer this now. This is again a type that comes. It's about shadow. Again, there is nothing more to explain here. I explained what I had to explain. Please listen to it again after the session. Think about what I am saying. Arjun, coincide has to be an option. Yeah, if the question is like that, it would be something like they are at the same place or something similar. Answer this first, the one that's there on your screen now. Think about it. If you have not done it, please think about it. Give me the correct answer. Oh, a variety of answers. Good, I discussed this then. Look at this. These are directions. It's talking about a morning. What happens in a morning? Where is sun? Sun would be somewhere here. Let's make a sun here. Fine. Sun is here. So if there is a guy standing here at this place, I'm very poor at drawing. Fine. So if there is a guy standing here, sun is here, east, it's talking about morning. Fine. Where would the shadow be? Can I say that the shadow would be somewhere here? ऐसे होगा ना? Can it be anything else? If the shadow is somewhere here, this guy is here. Fine. And you know, somebody is saying, so this has to, let's for a moment assume this is Anand. If Anand's shadow was exactly to the right of Bikash, fine, and they are facing each other, where would this guy be? It would be something like this. So this guy becomes Anand for us, and that's Bikash. Think about it. Sun is here, fine. So the sun rays are coming in this direction, right? Where would the shadow form? If he is facing this direction, Anand here, up, and Bikash down, then only the shadow of Anand would be towards the right of Bikash. यही होगा ना? सोच के देखो इसको केस में क्या हो रहा है? This is the shadow. I'll just keep our sun here. Sun can reach anywhere. I'll just draw a bigger diagram here. Let's say this is Anand here, facing in this direction. This is Bikash. Fine. If Anand is here, sun rays are coming in this direction. These are sun rays. Where would the shadow form? Can I say that the shadow would form here? और कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता ना. That's the only possibility. If this is the shadow, that's the shadow. And you know, if Anand's shadow was exactly to the right of Bikash, Bikash कहाँ पर होगा? That has to be Bikash. What's his direction? It would be facing down. If he is facing down, so he is facing south. That's south here. Fine. And it would be north. So how is it becoming then? So Anand is this guy and Bikash is this guy. Just look at the complete scenario. Where is Anand facing? Anand is facing up. Up is what? North. Fine. So the answer to this becomes north. If you have to convince yourself, do it, draw it neatly, and try and understand. Shadow is not a difficult topic or difficult concept to understand. Just get it once and I'll give you quick marks very, very quickly. Fine. So north is the correct answer. That's the exact diagram that you'll need to draw in this case. A is facing up or Anand is facing up. That's north. His shadow would be like this. That's because they are facing each other. So Bikash would be facing down. You can check here that this shadow here is to the right of Bikash. That's Bikash. So that's to the right of Bikash. So everything is satisfying. The question is, which direction was Anand facing? So Anand was facing north here. Now the question is that once I draw this, it becomes simple. Fine. When I start, how do I start? Fine. I'm just telling you this part. This is for understanding only. When I start, how do I start? Just think of it like this. What I do in questions like this is, since they are facing each other, तो ये तो ऐसे ही होगा ना, either like this or like this, but opposite directions में होंगे. Now if I'm saying Anand's shadow was exactly to the right of Bikash, can I say if they are facing each other? Let's say this is Anand and this is Bikash. So can I say if Anand's shadow was exactly to the right of Bikash, उसके खुद की shadow अपने किधर होगी? To the left ही होने वाली है ना? Listen to this part very carefully. Would again save half a minute for you. if Anand's shadow was exactly to the right of Bikash, where would Anand's shadow be with respect to himself? उसके खुद के रेस्पेक्ट में किधर होगी? टू द लेफ्ट. तो इस केस में आई कैन जस्ट फॉरगेट दिस विकास हियर. आर यू गेटिंग इट? आनंद शैडो इज एग्जैक्टली टू द राइट ऑफ विकास. मैंने आपको पहले भी दिखाया था कैसा था. दिस इज आनंद हियर, फाइन, एंड दैट्स द शैडो. दिस इज विकास हियर एंड इट्स टू द राइट ऑफ विकास. विच डायरेक्शन वॉज आनंद फेसिंग? आंसर आया था नॉर्थ. आई एम सेइंग जस्ट एलिमिनेट दिस गाय विकास फ्रॉम हियर. हाउ? If I just realize that if Anand's shadow was exactly to the right of Bikash, fine, where would Anand's shadow be with respect to himself? Has to be to the left. देखो ना क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पर. This is Anand. Where is his shadow? To his left ना. अब now if you realize this, तो आपका काम बहुत ज़्यादा आसान हो जाता है. आपको पता है सनराइज इधर की तरफ से आने वाली है, and this is a person standing, and that's the shadow. So where should the person be facing? The person should be facing north. I hope you realize this. और कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता. You know, you will think why I am wasting so much time on a question like this. Again, for simplicity, if you realize this part, you can simply eliminate Bikash from this equation and work on Anand, and you will realize very quickly that in the morning when the sun rays are coming from east and a person says that the shadow is towards left, that the person has to be facing north, in which in fact in so many of these books it's written as a formula as well. That's no formula. Do not mug it up. Just realize this. Erasing it, showing it to you again. This is morning, these are sun rays coming from the east, right? This is the person standing. Where would the shadow form? Something like this. So where is it? If the person is facing north here, the shadow would be towards his left. That's the exact situation, and that's why this person is facing north. So if I just tell you a question, like if I say that a person has his shadow towards his left in the morning, which direction is person facing? You can straight away say north. और कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता है. And this is that same question. Sharat, let me explain yaar. So many of you are not getting it. This is the next one. Do it now. The problem with you people is that when you do not understand yourself, you would say, sir, repeat. If it's somebody else's problem, then you say, sir, move forward. This is irritating for me yaar. Please understand. Do this now. I would not work at anybody's pace. Please understand that. Alright guys, answer this. Please think in that manner that I explained earlier, right? That's important. Again, all of you who are trying to understand this, if you want to do it in that conventional manner, you can do it, fine, but at times you can apply things like that. अब देखो इसमें क्या हो रहा है? It's exactly again the same thing. If Mukund, they are again facing each other, it has to be something like this. If Mukund's shadow was exactly to the left of Shekhar, can I say Mukund's shadow exactly to the left of Shekhar? I can also interpret it as Mukund's shadow, I'll just write it down as well, to the right of himself. यही मतलब होगा ना इसका, since they are facing each other, और कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता. If Mukund's shadow is to the left of Shekhar, his shadow would be to the right of himself. अब बताओ तो क्या होगा इस केस में? The only difference is that the sun is somewhere here, so sun rays are coming from this direction. You are saying that there is a person standing here, fine, and his shadow is to the right of himself. To the right of himself, ये किधर की तरफ जाने वाला है? तो shadow कहाँ बनेगी? इधर बनेगी. तो इसका मतलब अगर ये डायरेक्शन राइट है, फाइन, ये राइट डायरेक्शन है, तो पर्सन का फेस किधर होना चाहिए? अगेन वुड बी फेसिंग नॉर्थ. आर यू गेटिंग इट? लिसन टू इट अगेन. नाउ सन इज, दिस इज जस्ट बिफोर सनसेट, सो सन इज टुवर्ड्स वेस्ट, द सन रेज आर कमिंग इन दिस डायरेक्शन, राइट? आई एम सेइंग दैट देयर इज दिस पर्सन स्टैंडिंग हियर, फाइन, एंड हिज शैडो वुड फॉर्म लाइक दिस. ऐसे कुछ बनेगी उसकी शैडो. नाउ इफ दिस शैडो इज टू द राइट ऑफ हिमसेल्फ, ये वाला है, दिस इज राइट, वेयर वुड द पर्सन बी फेसिंग? The person has to be facing north, और कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता है. If it's north, you can do it very quickly, you know, just eliminating this guy Shekhar from the picture he is not required at all. If it's the exact conditions, do not tell me sir अगर इसको east west कर दूंगा या shadow किसी और direction में होगी तो क्या होगा. I just tell you ways which can be applied in certain cases. Fine. Otherwise, do whatever you want to do. There are multiple ways to attempt a question. But in this one, the moment I realize that they are facing each other, this is to the left of Shekhar, I realize that it would be to the right of himself. Right of himself, I do not do anything. This is sun. Fine. This is the person, this is shadow. So the person has to be facing north. I answer this in 10-15 seconds. And that's the reason why I'm explaining this to you. Alright, moving forward now. This is your next one. Give me the answer. Good, all of you, some of you at least found it useful. Most of you found it useful. Some could not understand. I do not know why. Either you are very reluctant to change your ways. सूची कर देंगे puzzles की practice. अभी मत बोलो, इस समय ये करते हैं. We'll do at least 2 more sessions on puzzles. I am promising you, right? 2 more sessions on puzzles, okay? यार नॉर्थ साउथ नहीं चलेगा. एग्जैक्ट आंसर दो, एक आंसर दो. सन किधर होता है मॉर्निंग में? Has to be south here. It's very simple, very simple. In fact, I wanted to tell you something else here. That's why I did this. No, this is the type that comes in an exam, and in fact it comes very often. The answer is south. All of you know that. There is just one thing that I wanted to tell you here in this question, and that's why I took this up. I have realized that at times they ask you distance, at times they ask you directions. In this one, what you realize or what you should realize very quickly is that here in this question they are asking you about directions and not about distance. When they are asking you about directions, you actually need not draw a very neat diagram like that. You do this, na? You don't do this. It's not required. Just look at what is happening here. He starts walking towards the sun. Sun kitna hota hai? This is east, so he starts like this. Going for 3 kilometers, I do not bother about these 3 kilometers. He turns right. Right किधर आएगा? इधर आएगा. Fine. So he starts like this, move towards right. Then again he turns right. Right किधर आने वाला है? फिर से इधर आने वाला है, इधर मुड़ गया. After walking for 4 kilometers, he turns left. So these are the 4 turns here. Now if these are the 4 turns, now do I need to write this 3, 7, 4 here? No, it's not required. What I'll do is, if not mentally, then I'll just do like this. This. And that's my answer. What is this direction? This has to be south. Are you getting me? Do not start doing donkey work the moment you look at the problem. Please realize that you need to look at the question as well. So the moment you write 2-3 directions or 2-3 turns, you look at the question. What does the question ask? In what direction is the man walking now? He's just asking direction. So if I just do left, right, it would give me the answer. So do I need to write this 3, 7, 4? It's redundant. This is superfluous data. That's not even required. यार इसकी हमें कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है इस वाले केस में. तो आप क्या करोगे? This, and that's your answer. I'm not worried where this guy is. The answer becomes south in this case. Did you get me? That's the only thing that I wanted to tell you here. That's why I'm giving it some time. The next one. Look for these things consciously. That is your next one. Answer this now. Yes, no use of distance, at least in this one. And you get such questions. Answer this one now and answer it correctly. कोई बात नहीं, सूर्या नहीं आएंगे इतने आसान तो नहीं आने दीजिए. आप लास्ट ईयर के एक बार पेपर चेक करिए लेकिन जरूर. This is again a very irritating habit of you people. मतलब if I ask you to do difficult things, you have a problem. If I give you stuff that comes in the exam, then you keep saying इतना आसान नहीं आता है. मेरे को एक पेपर मेल करिए कोई, somebody just mail me a paper, it's a sincere request, I mean let me come back on screen here, this is it's a request, please mail me a paper in which you have found questions difficult than this, please do it, it'll help me, it'll help you, it'll help me help you, right? So if you can share something like that with me, it'll help me help you. I'll find some smart solutions to those difficult questions and share it with you. So share with me a paper, fine. For example, somebody said sir syllogism का pattern change हो गया है, कब हुआ है यार? Last year SBI में there were no syllogisms, in IBPS there were just those two very simple questions of reverse syllogism. तो pattern बीच में कब change हो गया? How many exams happen in a year? I mean, tell me, are you getting me? People keep saying stupid things to you and you keep believing them. कब pattern change हुआ है? Give me, show me some difficult questions on directions. Fine. If you show me, I will go up a notch higher, 25% higher than that, and will do those. All right, deal. My mail ID is abhishek@meritshine.com. Please mail to me any difficult questions of directions that you have seen in any actual question paper. Please do that. Thank you. Okay, answer this now. Answer this correctly. I need both the things, distance as well as direction, both the things here. Alright, so this is the diagram. I hope I have not made a mistake. Let me just check this once. So this is the, let's call it the initial position. Abbas runs 20 kilometers towards east. So this is 20, this is fine. Runs 9 kilometer, then he turns right and then runs 10, this is fine, turns right 10, so this 10 is fine. Then he turns right and runs 9, this is fine. Then he turns right again and runs 5, so this is fine. He finally turns left and runs 12, so this is fine. And then turns right once again, runs 6. So all this is fine. You just need to calculate this distance, fine, this one. This is his final position, let's call it F. So this distance. What you need is this one first, just this part. What would be this distance? Look at this, this is this 5 and that's 6, fine. So if you draw parallel from here, you can see here that this distance would be, this here is 10. If this is 10, this distance, what would this part be here? This would be 1. You can visualize it. So this is, this is 10. When he moves in this direction here, he arrives at this thing. So this is 10 complete, but it's 6. So this part here becomes 1. So if this is 1, now you look at this one here, this distance. What is this distance here? Again, you look at this. This is 9. Fine. If you talk about horizontal direction, and this is 12. 12 plus 9 is 21. And what is this? This is 20. So 21 minus 20 is again 1. So can I say that this is also 1? So that's 1, 1. And again you use Pythagoras theorem here. You know that it's 1, 1 root 2. When there can be nothing else here. So the answer becomes, this is the initial position and that's the final position. Fine. So this direction would be there like this. So if that's the initial position, that's like the final position. Fine. And it is like this. So this distance here would be root 2. This is given 1, this is given 1, and the direction would be northwest in this case. So the direction becomes northwest and the answer would become root 2. The only thing that I wanted to tell you here is that if something like this comes here, fine, you have to draw it neatly, because if you do not draw it neatly, you can mess this up. Fine, it's an easy one. You can mess this up if you do not draw it neatly. So please try and draw it neatly. I am giving you the next one now, or do not think there is anything much to explain here now. I draw the complete thing for you. That's your next one. Answer this one now. अनाम, डू आई स्कोल्ड यू गाइज यार, व्हाट आर यू सेइंग? कितने प्यार से बात करता हूँ मैं. अनाम सेज यू कम इन माई ड्रीम्स एंड स्कोल्ड मी देयर टू. दिस इज अनफेयर. आंसर दिस वन नाउ. वंदना चौहान सेज गुड. वंदना, you guys are scolding me at the moment यार, what are you saying? जल्दी से इसको आंसर करिए, खत्म करना है 15 मिनट के अंदर अंदर, 10 मिनट के अंदर. Okay, 6.5 is the correct answer. I'll just show you like this. Let's say this is the point from where he started. Fine. So he's talking about southeast, so it would be something like this. 6 in southeast. Fine. And then 13.5 kilometer towards east. So let's put it like this. So that's 13.5. And from there he runs 6 kilometer towards northwest. So northwest would be again like this. Fine, and this would be same, ये वाला part, this line would be same as this part, and then a distance of 7 kilometers towards west. West would be this part. So this becomes 7 and that's where he ends. Now I know what is this. This is a parallelogram. Fine. So what is this remaining part here? What is this? This has to be 13.5 minus 7. This is no geometry, but again some bit of geometry is, yes, obviously there. You need to understand this figure. So he started from there, so that's the initial point, and he ended up here at this point. So that's the final point. The answer is 13.5 minus 7, that gives you 6.5. But I did not give you this question for you to draw this. I wanted you to realize something else. In all these questions, if I just, if you just again look at it carefully, can I say this 6 kilometer towards southeast is going to offset this 6 kilometers towards northwest eventually? होना ही है ना. देखो हुआ क्या है यहाँ पर, he went down, southwest गया यहाँ पर, southeast गया in this direction, and he comes north, what is this, northwest. These two ultimately offset each other. So could I have seen it directly? I could have यार. मतलब अगर आप ऐसे देखो ना, if I say that somebody goes towards west 4 kilometers and the person then comes towards, sorry उल्टा कर दिया मैंने, somebody goes towards east 4 kilometer and then comes towards west 4 kilometer, can I say that the person would be at the same position? Can I use the same concept in this case? Yes, I can. If somebody is going towards southeast, southeast किधर होता है? Southeast is this direction, fine, and then he comes back the same distance towards northwest, तो ये इधर की तरफ होगा. Can I say these two effects would be neutralized? ये तो parallel है, nullify होगा ही होगा. If these are neutralized, what am I left with effectively? It's 13.5 kilometers towards east and 7 kilometers towards west. So can I say it directly that the net effect would be 13.5 kilometer east, I am writing it, no need to write it though, minus 7 kilometer west. And for this, do I need to do anything? कुछ करने की जरूरत है क्या इसके अंदर? कुछ भी नहीं करना है. So the answer has to be what? It has to be 6 kilometers east. अब फिर जो आप में से नए शेयर्स हैं वो बोलेंगे ऐसा आता नहीं है, नहीं आता है कोई बात नहीं, अगर आएगा तो हम ऐसे करेंगे, जस्ट रिमेंबर दिस, फाइन. If you apply a little brain here, you can realize that even if it's not equal, you can use the same concept by manipulating it. Please realize what I am doing here. I am offsetting some part so that I do not have to make this diagram that takes 30, 40, 50 seconds of mine. So I am trying to do it directly. और आप इसमें कैंसिल कर सकते हो कुछ पार्ट, some part of it can be cancelled. I hope you got the message. Next time. हर्ष अगर याद रहेगा एग्जाम टाइम पे तो यूज कर लेना, नहीं याद रहेगा तो आपको अपना तरीका आता ही है ना. This is the next one. Answer this now. Shilpa, there is no one method that can be applied in all the questions. If he starts from south, I would read the question and decide what I need to do. I'm just telling you some ways in which you can eliminate things, in which you can reduce your time. This is no formula that can be applied everywhere. Please understand this. Answer this one now. All of you realize that it will not be south or north or east or west, it will be some southeast, southwest. बना ही लेते हैं इसको एक बार. सिंपल है. I do not need the exact thing because he is just talking about directions. कैसे हो रहा होगा? Kamal leaves his house and starts walking towards west. Fine. He starts like this. West में चला. After walking for 30 minutes, he turns right. Right would be this direction. Okay. He reaches here. Distance ignore करते हैं. He turns left. Turns left would be this one. Then he keeps walking for 15 meters. Then he takes a right again. So right would be like this, and he reaches, let's say, this point. After this, he turns right at 135 degrees. That is the only thing that you need to take care of in this. इसको कैसे हम interpret करते हैं? How do I interpret turn right at 135 degrees? This is, slightly complicated to understand in the sense. मतलब क्या होता है? When I turn, generally when I turn, let's say I'm going like this. When I turn left, I do this. When I turn right, I do this. So when I'm doing this, fine, I'm going like this. When I do this, what is this turn? Can I say this is turning right or turning clockwise at 90 degree? एक ही बात है. So I am saying turning right or turning clockwise at 90 degree. But when I am saying after reaching this place, I am not turning at 90. If this is 90, this is my direction, na? So there will be 90. If in place of 90, I make this 135, then this angle increases, na? So in place of this 90, this becomes my angle then. And this is 135 degrees to your right or to your clockwise direction, whatever way you want to put it here. Fine. Just realize this and you will never get it wrong. So this was 90 degree right turn, but it's not a 90 degree right turn, it's a 135 degrees right turn. So it happens like this angle becomes 135 degrees. Now you can directly see what this direction is. ये direction क्या होती है? This direction has to be, अगर ये बना हुआ है हमारे पास, what is this direction? This direction is southeast. So the answer here becomes southeast and nothing else. Whoever got it wrong, please look at it carefully once. It cannot be anything else but southeast. It's a very simple question. Do not mess it up. That's your next one now. Okay, answer this one, answer it carefully. The last 2-3 questions slightly more data. Okay, northeast 50 is the answer. I think all of you got this quite easily. Fine, let me just still draw it for you and tell you something else as well here. How does he start? A man walks 50 meters towards east. So let's say he starts from this place. So this becomes 50 here. So that's where he goes, towards east. Then he turns right and continues for 30 meters. So that's the position. After that he turns right and walks for 20 meter. So let's say this is 20. Fine. And then he walks for 70 meters towards north and he goes like this. And this thing becomes 70 in this case before coming to rest. So that's the final position here, and that's the distance we need to calculate. So that's our initial position and that's the final position. You can clearly see that this final position is nothing but northeast in this case. So that final position is northeast, and you look at this 70, this side here would be 70 minus 30, which is 40. Fine. And this side here of this right angle triangle would be 50 minus 20, that's 30. So this 50 minus this 20, that's 30. So it's basically a triangle is like this. So that's the triangle. This side is 30 and this side is 40. So you already know what this distance is. This distance is 50. This is again a Pythagorean triplet. Samir told you yesterday 3, 4, 5 is the most common Pythagorean triplet. So the moment you look at 30, 40, you realize that it's going to be 50, the distance here. Fine. So this is one way you do it. Another thing that I wanted to tell you here is, for those of you again who want to just save some time, you should realize here that when he does this, fine, what is happening here in this case? If you look at this, I'll just put something here for you. Just look at this. How does he start? Like, one way is doing this, you can always get this. A man walks 50 meters towards east. Fine, east हमारा किधर आता है? ऐसे आता है. So I'll just write this thing. He walks 50 meters towards east. Is it fine? Yes. What does he do then? Then he turns right. I know that when he is moving in this direction towards east and then he turns right. Fine. Turns right का मतलब he'll be going down like this. It ऐसे ही होगा. Then he turns right and continues for 30 meters. Can I say in the down direction he moved 30 meters? Just listen to it carefully. In the down direction he is moving 30 meters. Now look at what happens. After that he turns right. अब अगर ये डाउन से राइट जाएगा, फाइन, अगर ये डाउन से राइट जाएगा तो ये कैसे जाएगा? ही वुड बी मूविंग इन दिस डायरेक्शन. इफ ही मूव्स इन दिस डायरेक्शन, हाउ मच डज ही मूव इन दिस डायरेक्शन? ही मूव्स इन 20 मीटर्स इन दिस डायरेक्शन, लेफ्ट वाले में, ठीक है. एंड व्हाट ही डज देन आफ्टर दैट इन द फाइनल स्टेजेस, देन ही वॉक्स फॉर 70 मीटर्स टुवर्ड्स नॉर्थ. नॉर्थ कैसा होता है? वो तो हमेशा ही ऐसा होता है, इस वाला, एंड दिस बिकम्स प्लस 70. Now you just do this without writing. Do you realize here that out of this 50, this 50, fine, this would eat away 20? होने ही वाला है ना, क्योंकि ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन है. सो कैन आई से दैट द नेट इफेक्ट, लिसन टू मी प्रॉपरली, इन दिस डायरेक्शन वुड बी 50 minus 20 which has to be 30. Are you getting me? 50 ईस्ट था, ये जो 20 था ये किधर था, दिस वुड वेस्ट. सो नेट इफेक्ट टुवर्ड्स ईस्ट वुड ऑलवेज रिमेन 30. एंड लाइकवाइज वी कैन डू फॉर नॉर्थ एंड साउथ एज वेल. व्हाट इज दिस साउथ लाइक, ये साउथ कितना है, दिस इज 30. व्हाट इज दिस नॉर्थ लाइक, दिस इज 70. Fine. So this is 30, 70. Can I say that the net effect would be towards north, and what would be the extent? Plus 40. So the moment I realize this, I do not want to do all this. This is stupidity because it will waste me a lot of time. At least in this question, I do not need to do anything. What I can directly, or what I should be able to do directly is that there are just two movements that are happening. In the north direction, plus 40, and if you look at this, in the in the east direction, plus 30. Yes, these are the two directions. If these are the two directions, do you need to draw this figure? If you want, you can still draw it because you will need to practice with this. But the moment I realize this is north east 40 30, I know what my answer is. North east वैसे भी आ गया, and 30 40 का triangle मेरे को क्या देता है, मेरे को 50 देता है. So that's my answer straight away. Have you got it? I want you to understand this. I have explained what I wanted to explain. Now if you want to get into this, please try doing questions like this, because directions में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. You can take it from anywhere. The problem with this diagram is that at times you mess up with numbers. In this you would not mess up with numbers. 1, 2, it would save you some time. Fine. Next देखते हैं. This is the next one now. चलो अनाम आपको पसंद आ रहा है, अच्छी बात है. प्रॉब्लम ये है कि बहुत सारे लोगों को नया सीखना पसंद नहीं होता है. What do I do with them? Raghavendra, it's very simple. You practice for 1 hour, you would master this. There is no rocket science in this. This is very simple. So this is the second last question for the day. Do this quickly. Did you get it like that? Did you get it like that? I wanted you to understand and apply it here. You can get it very easily like that. 60 साउथ ईस्ट कैसे होगा यार, 60 ईस्ट ही होने वाला है ना. क्या करूंगा मैं अगर मेरे को जल्दी से करना है, एंड यू कैन ऑप्टिमाइज दिस फर्दर एज वेल. कैसे होने वाला है, 30 नॉर्थ. फाइन. सो नॉर्थ को मैं ऐसे डिनोट करता हूँ, आई विल जस्ट राइट 30 हियर. फाइन. देन इट टर्न्स राइट. राइट का मतलब क्या है, इट वुड बी दिस डायरेक्शन. लुक, दीज एरोज आर आल्सो गोइंग टू हेल्प यू. जस्ट विजुअलाइज दैट यू आर मूविंग अप. So right would be towards right, the way I have drawn. Turns right, this becomes 25. Or if you want to optimize it further, what you can do is don't draw this. आपके पास स्क्रीन नहीं होगी ना वहाँ पर, आपके स्क्रीन होगी. That's why I'm doing this. Otherwise I could have done this straight away. I have put it here like this. And 25 के केस में I'll just put it here. So on a piece of paper I'll do it like this. But since you'll have to reproduce it, that's why I'm doing it like this. Then it turns right. Right from this would be down. Fine. How much? This is 45. Then he turns left. Left would be, I think, this direction. This is 35. And finally he turns left. Left would be again, I think, up. And this is 15. So that's it. You can see here that this 30, 15, 45 would cancel themselves. So what is the net effect? Net effect is 25 plus 35, which gives you 60 in this case. So what is the direction? That's 60 towards east. अब देखो मेरा बनाया हुआ क्वेश्चन नहीं है. आई हैव जस्ट चेंज द लैंग्वेज. आई took this data from somewhere. बट ये तो देखो इसमें कुछ देर इज नो सच थिंग ना कि यहाँ लगेगा वहाँ नहीं लगेगा, यू कैन ऑलवेज अप्लाई इट एवरीवेयर इफ यू हैव गॉट द मेथोडोलॉजी. अब इसी को ऑप्टिमाइज करने का क्या तरीका हो सकता है, सिंस यू कैन नॉट राइट इट हियर अप एंड डाउन एरोज लाइक दिस, यू कैन डू दिस इन प्लेस ऑफ मेकिंग this and these four, you can directly subtract it. For example, I wrote this 30 here, then I wrote 25. What I could have done is that when it went down 45, what this is what I would have done, I would write minus 45 here. I'll save some time, I mean, in place of writing this. But again, it's all about practice. Do not mess it up. If you want to take advantage of this, practice 100 questions and you will perfect it. I would advise taking plus minus in one of the two directions. Which two directions you take? The first two that come. So if it's north, I'll take north. If it's south, then take south. I know my arithmetic and I can do it quickly without doing any kind of error in this. The only thing that you need to realize is that when somebody starts, I'll just erase this. When somebody starts and do it like this, okay, this is incorrect. Don't do this. When somebody starts and does this, even if it's this complicated, please realize that all these distances are offsetting each other, no? और कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता है ना, ये ऐसे ही जा रहा है ना, it goes like this, fine. So whenever the question is of the type he starts from this place and reaches this place, you can always cancel all these distances among each other. Try doing them. So if you get a, let's say, a set of 3 questions with lots of data and just talking about end points, you can use this. If it's giving you some intermediate points, then you cannot use this. Please realize this. So for example, if I tell you this is some shop where he stops, then you need to take care of this as well. So do not tell me tomorrow coming back, sir वहाँ नहीं लगा. मैं कुछ आपको ऐसा नहीं दे रहा हूँ जो हर जगह लग जाएगा. I'm just telling you ways to think to optimize the solution. I hope you got this. The next one now. Okay, this is your last question, slightly longish. Fine, do this now. I just made it in the very end. कुछ डेटा में गड़बड़ भी हो सकती है. I hope it doesn't turn out to be this way, but just do it quickly. सुस्मिता, जितना हार्ड करना था हमने कर लिया है. दीज आर द हार्ड लेवल क्वेश्चंस दैट आई डिड. उससे हार्ड इसमें कुछ भी नहीं आता है. इट्स अ सिंपल टॉपिक यार, प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड. ये जो मैं सोच रहा हूँ ये भी ज़्यादा ही सोच रहा हूँ. डज इट रिक्वायर इवन दिस मच? डज इट वारंट दिस मच? Surya, there were 2 or 3 questions in prelims last year. I don't remember. 2. There was a set of 2. But you do not know. It might come up with something else as well. For example, look at this question that I made for you. Look at this. You will realize why I'm explaining this to you. अनुराग इज आस्किंग कन्वेंशनल फाइन है अगर हम करते हैं. बिल्कुल फाइन है अनुराग, वो तो तरीका ही है ना. अगर आपको नहीं इसमें मतलब अगर आपको यू थिंक देयर आर प्रॉब्लम्स इन दिस, गो विद योर ओरिजिनल मेथड्स. आई नेवर प्रिस्क्राइब एनीथिंग टू एनीबडी. Concentrate on this now. Give me the correct answer. Sorry. Yeah. अब देखिए आप लोग कह रहे हैं ये टफ है, पहले आप लोग कह रहे थे इतना आसान है कुछ आ नहीं सकता है, अब नाउ आई मेड अ क्वेश्चन फॉर यू कि क्या आ सकता है, आपको टफ लग रहा है। मैं एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ इसको, यू वांट टू गिव इट 1 more minute, क्या करेंगे, बट वेयर डू एक्सप्लेन, देयर इज हार्डली एनी प्लेस लेफ्ट हियर। लेट मी जस्ट काइंड ऑफ try to mug up the data. No, speed is not ignorable. Okay, let me do this now. I'll come back to this slide if I have to look at data. Fine. So it's like this. So this is Kohli here and this is Smith. This is their initial positions. What they do is 35 traveled or covered, this is again 35 here, fine, and the distance between them is now 35, 70, fine. What it does is that he realizes that he has to go back. How much does he go back? Exactly till this point, fine, and this is how much, if I if I just break it up, this is 20 and this is 15, fine. So this is the position which Smith reaches after turning back and traveling for 20 units, fine. Meanwhile, what would Kohli do? He was at this point. So now what is the ratio of their speeds? Earlier they were traveling at equal speeds, but now it's 2:3, which is Smith to Kohli, because Kohli increased speed by 50%. Now this can give you a wonderful set in DI or anywhere. Now when Smith travels 2 units, Kohli would travel 3 units. So when Smith travels 20, Kohli would travel 30, or when Smith covers 20, Kohli would do 30. Look at this, Smith started from this point and covered 20. Kohli is at this point, and what is this distance? This distance is 30. So iska matlab hua that he reaches this point. So after this, this, if you can call it a pause, Smith would be at this position here and Kohli would be at this position, fine. So these are intermediate positions. Why I am doing this is because if I do it here, this would be very difficult to understand. Now I am just breaking this 20 up further, fine. So let's say these are the positions now. So this becomes 20. So it is the same 20 distance that was up here, this 20. So I am just making a bigger line. Now this is Kohli and this is Smith. What was the data? I think Smith then covers 10 meters, fine. So Smith covers 10 here, let's say like this. So this is 10 and Kohli would then cover 15. So this becomes Kohli 15. Okay, so here reaches, this is Smith here, new position, and this is Kohli. What happens then? Then he turns further and moves in this direction. And how much distance does he do? I cannot draw it to scale because of paucity of space. He covers 40. Now since he covers 40, how much distance would Kohli cover? Smith does 40. Again it's all unitary system. So Kohli would be 3/2 of that. So he'll do 60. So this is, if you move in this direction, it would be like this. Now you should realize here that he would be just below Smith in this case. So Smith reaches here and this would be Kohli, fine. Why? Because this distance here plus this distance here, this distance, this is 40 plus 2, 60. So he does 40, this guy, and he does 60 and reaches this place. So these are their positions now. And now what I'm saying is that Kohli, because they are in straight line now, if both of them move upward, he would be caught somewhere here. So Smith moves like this. What is this distance? Just draw this thing. What is this distance? This is 10. If this is 10, in 10, how much would Kohli cover? 15. And you look at this, this is exactly 15. Why? Because this is 5. Just compare it from this place, you will realize the directions. So this is 10, this is 15. So this is the place where he would be exactly caught. Now if you have to calculate this distance, ये वाला आपका distance है, ये कैसे निकलेगा? Just join it here. If you join it here, you realize that this is 40. ये तो पहले से ही 40 लिखा हुआ है ना. So this is 40. So the answer would be this 35 plus 30 plus 20 plus 40. How much is this? I think 125. सही कर रहा हूँ ना मैं? Yes. So the answer becomes 125. That's how you do it. You do it only if you. Sanjeev, it's not difficult. It's slightly tricky here. I mean, what else do you get in direction sense? If you have to do something else with directions, there's nothing much in it. You just draw it neatly. You can get it very easily. In fact, you can also try and apply the method that I told you, but I did not do this because they did not start at the same place and you might get confused. But it can be applied also if you want. So I have drawn it neatly for you here so that you understand what we are doing here. So that's the thing, and the answer becomes 125. But if something like this, Ankita, why would you skip it if it gives you 5 marks? You're not getting me. I'm not saying do this for 1 mark. I'm just telling you what all can this directions get into. I mean, it's nothing. Last time you got I think you got a set at work time and work and some set in profit and loss. So why cannot you get a set in blood relation, or why cannot you get a set in distance? They are all merging. In the clerical exams, they are giving you puzzles which require both numbers and logic. Fine, so something like this can come. You wanted me to do something slightly tougher than what has appeared till date. That's why I'm doing this, but this is not tough. Please try and understand this. This is a puzzle based on something like this. You can get it in your mocks, you can get it in the actual exam. Please realize this. Fine, so Rajiv, if you want a short trick for this, you can probably try the thing that I did there, but even this would not take more than 2-3 minutes to draw. I was drawing and explaining to you, that's why it took this much time. If you draw it on your own, it will not take more than 2-3 minutes. Just draw it very, very neatly. Fine, so this is it for today. I am just erasing this and would come back on the screen for the last 2 minutes. So this is it with direction sense. There is nothing else. I covered all the question types that come. There are 4 or 5 question types, and something like this can always come in your exam. So just be wary of this. Get comfortable with directions. If a set like this appears, you should be very comfortable with it. With this, I'll call it a day. There is nothing else to much else left to teach in this topic. Just practice, and you'll do wonderfully well here. Fine. I'll take my next arithmetic class, that's time, speed, distance, on Monday. My request to all of you is watch all the arithmetic lectures before that. Everything that I've done, DI and whatnot, whatever we have done. Be comfortable with reciprocals, with proportions, with percentages. If you do not do that, even time, speed, distance is going to turn into a nightmare. Fine, so that's the only request for you. We have a class tomorrow as well at 7 p.m. I'll just take your leave now. Okay, Samir would take a class tomorrow that would be the doubts of mathematical inequalities and all the other stuff that was left here, some higher level problems as well. So Samir would meet you tomorrow at 7 p.m. I will meet you on Monday at 7 p.m. with time, speed, distance. Do your arithmetic before that. Fine, so this is it. Thank you very much for your patience. Keep practicing, keep working hard. The exam is just around the corner now. This is already April. Wish you guys all the very best. Thank you so much.